The following is a presentation of TFNN. It is now time for Living a Primal Lifestyle with your host, Nico de Haan. And now, here's Nico de Haan.
Hi, folks. Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle. Nico de Haan here and Paige Clarke. How's everybody doing today? Are you doing good?
It's great to see you, and congratulations.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, in fact, I have my medals here.
We're with a celebrity today.
Gold medal in my weight division and age division, which is 57 and up. And the guy I fought actually was 57, so it was cool.
That's amazing.
And I got a silver in the absolute.
Maybe you should wear them today while we're on the show.
No. That's enough of that. But it was a great thrill. Of course, the competition's always a lot of fun.
Don't we have a picture somewhere?
Yeah, I think he's probably putting it up right now.
Awesome.
I think that's me on the podium with AJ, who's our champion from Gracie Baja headquarters. He is from our gym, however.
That's a great picture.
AJ won in his division. He won the gold also. Didn't participate in the absolute. He has another competition up in New York, a qualification for the one of the big tournaments around the world, actually. So he's going to qualify for that. But it was a great time. About 700 competitors there. So
that's amazing. And
I was the oldest guy there. So that was pretty cool.
And you don't look like it, though.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, there was a couple of guys that look older than me, I must admit, especially after the fight. But it was a good time. I got to spend a little time with some friends on the way down from here. I went over to Juneau, visited a real good friend of mine, Ron Slushmeyer, from the old days, a real running buddy of mine, and he taught me really how to dive. And that was a real nice thing. And then went south and went to the hotel and hooked up with AJ. And the interesting thing, AJ, of course, 24-year-old jiu-jitsu champion, great guy, really smart guy too. He's starting to talk when we're meeting all these people at the competition, and a lot of them are Brazilian, of course. Right. Well, he's talking to Brazilian. He's talking Portuguese to these guys. Right. Well, he's lived over there for about in L.A. with the Gracie family. For about 6 months, but already he's speaking the language fluently, I must say. It was amazing, with the Brazilian accent, of course.
I think that's a pretty difficult language to learn, Portuguese.
Any time that you're learning a language and you're not in that country, I think it makes it difficult. But once you get into the culture of a family that speaks that language, I says, how did you happen to learn it? He says, well, I'm in a family, and they speak Portuguese.
Right.
I goes, oh, I get it. So.
Learn.
Another interesting thing is what high-powered athletes like AJ do is they get down to weight. Usually they're carrying around maybe 10 pounds more, and slowly but surely, or sometimes in an emergency case, they get down to where they need to be for the fighting weight. I was kind of on the edge myself, so we were both kind of watching. We bought a little scale, and so we were weighing ourselves, and he's actually 10 pounds lighter than I am. He's 163. I was like 173. But when we arrived at the hotel, I think we were about 166 and 176. So we didn't eat a lot. I had breakfast the morning of the competition, and he didn't. He wanted to make sure he was under. But by the time I got back up to the room, I was already 173 again. So I didn't vary a lot. I varied about that 3 pounds. But the interesting thing, after the competition, so we're both, he's 163, I'm 173. We're both doing the same thing. He had 3 more fights than me, so he expended a little bit more energy, no doubt about that. So we go out to eat afterwards. We went to this great Texas, I think it's called the Texas Brazilian restaurant. And this is one of those places where all you can eat, and they bring it to your table, and it's just prime meat, so it's beautiful. So we really indulged ourselves well. Went back to the hotel, slept, and the next morning we weighed ourselves. I was 173, he was 173.
That much difference?
He was 10 pounds heavier.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And, so I came up with a theory why, and I think I really know why, is because he, as an athlete and being so young, he eats a lot of carbohydrates. Right. So he's burning sugar. Pretty much all the time. So when he replenishes himself, he finds it pretty easy to lose weight because he's so darn active. He's sparring all the time, plus doing all these great exercises, flipping the tire over and, things like that. But since he's a sugar burner, when he eats food, it goes to be storage. It is storage of fat. Because insulin is involved in that, and that opens the door to get it stored. I'm a fat burner.
Correct.
So when the food enters me, it gets processed, used as energy or maybe muscle building or whatever. It really doesn't go into my fat cells. Right. So hence, I have very little
variation in your weight.
In my weight, where he goes way up and down. So on the way back, I was driving back to Tampa, and AJ lives in this area, so he went up to see his mom. So he rode with me, and I played him a few podcasts of one of my broadcasts, and also Nora Gagalis and a couple of other people. And then he says, "Boy," he says, I get this. I get why this makes so much sense because of the evolutionary part of it." Saying, for thousands of years we did, and I gave him the analogy. Okay, go out in the woods and now let's pretend we're going to find some food. What would we find?
Right.
Of course, the animals or the insects or whatever, protein mainly, and maybe some greens if we knew what to eat. That's pretty much all. There is nothing else.
I think there probably were a lot of greens because greens were everywhere around.
Well, yeah, but we wouldn't be eating them because we don't know them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was, it's just. But yeah, I think food is medicine, right?
Exactly.
We've always said that. Food is medicine. So everything you put in your mouth, you have to treat kind of like medicine. Well, that makes a lot of sense. But what we really want to do is look at it that way for everything we do, don't we? Not just the food, but also how we treat each other, also how we treat the environment, and the whole thing involved in the same thing. So it's our attitude that really has to change.
Absolutely. And when you talk about that weight variation too,
yes.
when we eat as carb eaters,
yes,
and we do, not only does it get stored as fat, because it may not all be fat, but I think what you're seeing too is just an increase in extracellular fluids due to the toxicity. I mean, again,
because you have more waste products going on.
Yes.
Well, also doesn't while your body is converting that sugar into fat and putting it into the cells, all your maintenance type of stuff that your body needs to do to keep you running smooth, like a fine-oiled machine kind of, that's kind of stops.
Kind of slows down.
Because it's put on the back burner because the most important thing is to get rid of this sugar.
Well, to get rid of the sugar and just in general, digestion is a huge stress. It's like a red alert.
Yeah. Well, that's why you should be actually resting on an empty stomach, that whole thing, right?
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Give your body a little break.
Yeah. Anyway, it was interesting about the AJ and the whole weight thing, and I thought, I would relate that to you because that kind of just all of a sudden it opened up the knowledge of saying, hey, I am doing the right thing.
If you want to have a stability in your weight, men and women, go more paleo, more primal.
Yeah, no
primal
doubt about
living.
It. Yeah. So, one of the things that we noticed on the way to work. Well, let's talk about, first of all, what great weather we're having down here in Florida, and
this
about the storm.
This is our beautiful time of year, yeah.
The storm has kind of missed us a little bit, but we are in a beautiful time of year. But I know up north, Hurricane Sandy is coming towards you, and it's quite an interesting storm because it's kind of like the perfect storm, maybe even more so.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
I saw something this morning that said it was rated 9.1.
On the storm scale or something.
On the storm scale.
I didn't even know we had a storm scale like that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the heading part of the storm, so the beginning of that storm is all going to be like a nor'easter going in.
Maryland north.
North.
So if any of you are there, people always send us the hurricane, get prepared, and good wishes for being safe. So we send that to any of you that are out there. Be prepared and be prepared to get out of harm's way if you're in
especially if that thing comes ashore and it looks like it's going to be a long duration, which really means, I'm not trying to be a weather guy here either, but basically is those tides this time of year are pretty high in the Northeast. And the farther north you go, the worse they are. So at a high tide with another 20 feet of storm surge on top of that, imagine that going into Manhattan or Queens or even D.C.
Right.
That's a lot lot of water. Yeah. So you got to
everybody stay alert.
Go get your flood insurance right now. I think you need to sign up right now before the storm.
It might be too late.
I guess it is. I guess it is too. But on our way to work, we encountered the people in the pink shirts.
Yes, Susan G. Komen walk, 60-mile, 3-day walk. And we don't want to beat a dead horse.
Okay,
we've talked a little bit about. We talked a little bit last week while you were gone about breast cancer, because I had done that breast health awareness.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even like to focus on the cancer. That's our whole point. You and I were saying that, you know, we see this and we know that the intent is great of this organization. There's a lot of women that get tremendous emotional support.
Yes.
But let's get back to looking at what are the causes. Let's dive a little deeper. What are we eating? What have we been exposed to? Because the numbers are not going down. I mean, we can keep walking to where...
More and more people get cancer all the time in our society, and at an escalating scale. Worse, the cancers are getting worse. But, yeah, and these things do open up awareness for the disease, but they really don't seem to, at least to my satisfaction, open up
the prevention.
Exactly.
Right.
Open up the awareness to why is this happening to us? Why, as a population, in the last 150 years, are we getting more and more cancer at an escalated rate? So that means there has to be something in our environment, in the food that we eat, in the air that we breathe, in the products that we use. These are all things that are tied to cancers.
Right. I mean, as simple as vitamin D. You know, all this research comes out, and everyone's kind of the hot button. But, I mean, vitamin D, we're in the fall. Vitamin D is a major contributor to prevention and protecting you against the flu. It actually prevents and protects you against over 300 different switches for different diseases, cancer being one of them. Pretty much almost all women that end up having breast cancer have low vitamin D levels. Yeah. But why isn't that simple little public government-provided blurb out?
Yeah, if we want the government to do anything, I mean, education.
Educate us.
But educate us not on propaganda. Educate us with facts, like a college does.
Right.
And vitamin D is so important because it appears to, I don't know if it actually does this, but to me it appears to switch all the other vitamins and nutrients on and make them go to the right place in a sense.
It does.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's such an inexpensive, it's really not a vitamin, it's a hormone.
It's a hormone,
actually.
Right.
And the best place to get it is the sun. But, I mean, I would like to see more of this kind of information. I mean, you know, we bring you all information from articles that we see and research, and we try and bring it to your attention. But why isn't our government doing that for us? And there's a lot of money being spent on a lot of superficial things, and I'd just like to see people knowing more. There's still a lot of people that are getting support from organizations like the Susan G. Komen, but I don't, you know, when I talk to them, they don't have a clue about some of the things that I like to share with them.
That's for sure. Our number here, folks, is 877-927-6648. If you'd like to give us a call, I'd like to remind you of my Health Signals newsletter. I do have a copy laying around here someplace. I don't know exactly where it is. Yeah, you might have it. But anyway, you know, I've got an article in there just about every kind of subject that we talk about here on the show that goes in depth of why you should change your mind about doing some of the things you may be doing or eating some of the stuff you might be eating. We're going to be right back, folks. Remind you that we do have these episodes available at podcast, on iTunes. They're on video on livingaprimal.com. And Paige and I will be right back. There it is.
In just December of last year, the price of gold was down over 10%. In today's highly volatile gold market, you need someone in your corner that understands the complex relationships that exist within the price of gold, as well as within a variety of gold equities. Whether it's the South African gold miners and knowing how the rand-dollar relationship will affect their bottom line, or understanding how John Paulson's $5 billion trade in the GLD can move the market, Tom O'Brien gives you the direction you need to become a better trader each week in his newsletter, The Gold Report. With over 20 individual equities covered and almost another 20 on the potential watch list each week, in addition to covering the XAU, HUI, GLD, and dollar, The Gold Report is a great source for any trader that is looking to be diversified in today's volatile gold market. For your 30-day free trial to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report, log on to TFNN.com today. Don't miss out on this great offer. Act now. You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor, Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Millionaires are made every day. The fact is, living your dreams is possible. Someone, somewhere is going to get rich. My recommendation is, let that be you. Each day, someone is making the decision to better themselves and creating a plan to fulfill their financial dreams. Let that be you. The key to turning dreams into reality is to take massive action. Let that be you. I'm Steve Rhodes, co-host of the Money Master Show with Tom O'Brien, seen daily at TFNN, and I can help you with your journey to great wealth. I'll show you how to create the ultimate financial edge, a set of tools, insights, and strategies that are part of my daily newsletter service, Mastering Probability. You'll have direct access to me by phone, email, and my private library of trading and investing secrets for 30 days with an unconditional money-back guarantee. I'll take your trading to the next level. Click on my name, Steve Rhodes, on the homepage at TFNN.com and turn your dreams into reality. Mastering Probability, folks. Let that be you.
What type of investor are you? Conservative, moderate, or aggressive? No matter your investor personality, your overall portfolio should reflect your financial goals, time horizon, and your risk tolerance. Help ensure your portfolio is appropriately invested with an asset allocation plan from Morgan Stanley Wealth Management. Simply picking the right stocks is not enough. Research has shown that choosing the right proportions of stocks, bonds, and cash is essential to the success of your long-term investments. Morgan Stanley believes a carefully selected portfolio can lower volatility and increase investment return potential. Find out about what an asset allocation and a Morgan Stanley Wealth Management financial advisor can do for you. Call Angela O'Brien, First Vice President and Financial Planner of the Clearwater, Florida branch at 727-441-6108 today to discuss your personal financial needs. Asset allocation does not assure a profit or protect against loss in declining financial markets. Investments and services are offered through Morgan Stanley Wealth Management, LLC. Member SIPC.
This segment is brought to you by Great Panther Silver. For more information, just click the Great Panther Silver banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back to Living a Primal Lifestyle with Nico de Haan and Paige Clarke. And the number here is 877-927-6648 if you'd like to join the program. Ask any question you want, pretty much. And I'd like to remind you of our Health Signals newsletter. It's out over the airways right now. And, of course, these shows are archived on TFNN.com, so check out the newsletter there, too. You know, one of the things I noticed in the newspaper the other day was this article about the hospitals are stopped giving away formula to mothers, and they're seeing a drop in people using formula for feeding their babies.
We'd like to hear that.
Yeah, well, that's pretty good news.
Formula is a very processed food.
Yeah, and a lot of it's soy.
Soy is not a toy for the girl or the boy.
You've always got these cute little sayings. I like it. But, you know, this is really important. And with me, I was breastfed for 2 years. Of course, I was born in Holland during the war, and there wasn't much food available. It was during what they call the hunger winter. And so, you know, I was kind of force-fed in a way.
Well, I'm really glad to hear
that. That's helped me be healthy, I think.
I think so. It's really important for immunity. Yeah. I chose to breastfeed all 3 of my children. I think it's the way to go. I mean, there's so many valuable nutrients that are available.
Well, one of the big things is the probiotics that is passed down from the mother through the breast milk.
Absolutely.
And
building the gut health of the baby. And that really they will have those strains for their whole life. They're really planting the seed.
Yeah. So I think it's really important, and by hospitals stopping this procedure of providing this free. Really what it is the company's going in there and says, look, how would you like your patients to get this stuff for nothing? Well, of course, it's an advertising ploy to get them to try to use this. And I think the first thing that we should try to do is persuade the mother to, let's go natural.
Right. And I think that unfortunately there's a lot of women that get the idea, when the formula is provided, it's almost like, because, breastfeeding takes, been too much focus on that, breastfeeding takes some effort. It's a little bit of a challenge the first couple of days getting started. I mean, trust me, and maybe, again, more effort put in towards education and helping these young mothers do that.
Yeah.
By putting the formula in the bags, when you hit those couple so rough first 3 or 4 days, you see that little packet or can, you're like, maybe I need to be looking at this. So I'm glad that they're not doing that. Again, let's present people with the option of using, what's right and natural, and not emphasize or promote those things that aren't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a processed food.
Well, our whole society, starting in the 60s when women started working more and the equal pay and all that was, of course, needed. But, gone are the days, it seems, that we have to, you can have one person working and the other one stay home. That's pretty much gone in our society. And that's a detriment not only to breastfeeding, but also all the social things that go along with building a family and having somebody at home watching the kids and guiding these young adults kind of on their path to be self-sufficient.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those of us that are in the Whole Foods movement, and again, I send people back to Weston Price. It's just a great resource for traditional whole foods, and there's a lot of connections there for helping with raising healthy babies. Actually, at the Weston Price Foundation, they teach you, some of the people there, they have videos that show you how to actually make a healthy baby formula in the event that there's some reason that you are finding it. But it's completely different than what you're finding in those cans.
I've done it in previous newsletters. In fact, a couple of issues ago, I was talking about babies being fed grains.
Right.
And switching them over, and how soon
we talked about that. That we're being encouraged to introduce that their first food is cereal, and that in fact babies do not even produce the enzyme to properly break down cereal until I think it was 18 months of age, and yet we're being encouraged to make that one of their first foods.
Doesn't make a lot of sense.
We're setting them up for problems. So that was some good news. Yeah,
it is good news that the hospitals are doing it. I think all hospitals should refrain from that kind of thing. It's how they get some revenue.
Well, they're not. They should not be salespeople for the multinational.
Well, I think what's happened too is these corporations are paying them to have this put in. So
they are, but that's another reason. And it's kind of a spot for me is the dietitians that work in the hospitals, they are highly trained, and I'm sure they have a lot of good information. But many of them, most of their events are sponsored by the big food companies like Coca-Cola and Nestle's and Hershey's, and you're like, what does this have to do with real food?
Yeah.
And if you go to a hospital and you see the food there, I think you'll find that most of it is the big multinational corporations. So got to kind of watch.
Yep. That's for sure. Okay, folks, we're going to be right back with Paige and Nico de Haan, or Paige Clarke and Nico de Haan. It's 877-927-6648, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
Heard Tom O'Brien on the air, and you've seen him on Tiger TV as well as being featured as a regular CNBC guest and contributor, and now you can have access to his expert trading advice each morning through his daily trading newsletter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, gives traders, investors, and money managers a thorough strategy for trading stocks, options, and indices every market day. Market Insights comes out each market day before 9:30 a.m. and provides traders with Tom's daily commentary, opinion, and specific trade recommendations on the markets. Using advanced Fibonacci methods, volume indicators, Gartley patterns, candlestick charting, gaps, and market timing, Market Insights will give you specific trade recommendations including entry, stop, and exit prices. The summer is over and traders are back. Get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Recently, Basil Chapman has had some outstanding trades in his newsletter, The Opening Call. Each morning by 9 a.m., Basil uploads his newsletter to the TFNN servers so that his subscribers can access his expert trading advice. Basil gives his take on the direction of key indices and updates any active trades that his subscribers are currently in. Just recently, Basil's subscribers closed out a short position in Chipotle Mexican Grill, CMG, for more than an $86 profit per share, over a 20% gain in just one position. If you'd like to check out Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, then visit the front page of TFNN.com and click Trading Newsletters. There you'll find Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, where you can request a free sample copy. Also, don't miss Basil's program, The Tiger Technicians Hour, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, on TFNN.
In just December of last year, the price of gold was down over 10%. In today's highly volatile gold market, you need someone in your corner that understands the complex relationships that exist within the price of gold, as well as within a variety of gold equities. Whether it's the South African gold miners and knowing how the Rand-dollar relationship will affect their bottom line, or understanding how John Paulson's $5 billion trade in the GLD can move the market, Tom O'Brien gives you the direction you need to become a better trader each week in his newsletter, The Gold Report. With over 20 individual equities covered and almost another 20 on the potential watch list each week, in addition to covering the XAU, HUI, GLD, and dollar, The Gold Report is a great source for any trader that is looking to be diversified in today's volatile gold market. For your 30-day free trial to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report, log on to TFNN.com today. Don't miss out on this great offer. Act now.
This segment is brought to you by Crocodile Gold. For more information, just click the Crocodile Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the show, folks. It's Nico and Paige here on Living a Primal Lifestyle. You know, one of the things that somebody asked me, they said, you're on this paleo diet, and I see you drinking coffee. How come coffee beans are okay, you don't eat other beans? Of course, coffee's not really a bean. Mm-hmm. It's actually a fruit. It's actually a nut of a fruit, right?
Correct.
Yeah, it's a berry. And I don't know, do they actually eat the fruit of? I've never heard anything about the fruit.
I think there are some people that do. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that.
Coffee berry eaters.
Well, there's a whole new marketing campaign right now for some coffee berry. It's supposed to be effective in skincare things, and it's also supposed to be for weight loss. I don't know.
Right. Also, Dr. Oz was talking about the green
coffee berry.
Coffee berry or bean or something. So now they call them berries when there's only one half. Mm-hmm. They call them beans when they're the two halves. You know, those are shaped like two little kidneys. That. Yeah, they call the berries the single ones, and there's a few of them that are single. I don't know if that means they're better or not. Anyway, I just thought I'd say that coffee is not actually a bean, but even if it was, I might still have some of it. I don't know. You mentioned something that just came over the wire about, what was it?
Well, I was just looking at that. You know, again, I want to encourage everyone to be watching what's going on with the Proposition 37 in California, which is you want to vote yes. We want our food to be labeled. We need to know if it's, you know, if our food is a cross between, is it real or is it an eel? I had posted on my Facebook, it's this piece of salmon. Is it real or is it an eel? You know, we're seeing all these different species.
The point is we want to know what's in the food. We want to, if it's in a package of some kind, I'd like to know what's in it. That's simple as that. It's a human right, I think. If I'm buying something, tell me what it is, and the only way I can do that is really list it.
And the way that California usually goes is the way of the nation. Yes. And the way the big multinationals, and they're spending like 20 to 1 in terms of funding. You know, they're just out funding the grassroots movement to pass this important legislation. But what, you know, they're doing is they're spending money and giving people the fear factor that this is going to have the impact of raising your food prices. We need to know what's in our food.
Yeah.
And if we're buying more along the outside, we don't need to be buying all the packaged foods. And this just came through in Australia. A new genetically modified wheat may permanently alter the human genome and spark early death.
Wow.
The DNA matches the GM wheat with humans, and they're seeing some serious, can experience cognitive impairment, quadriplegia, peripheral neuropathy, and neurogenic bladder. I mean, these are things we just don't need to be messing with these frankenfoods.
Unbelievable.
So don't buy them. I mean, probably the healthiest thing you can do, depending on where you are with the paleo spectrum. I mean, stop buying processed boxed foods. If it comes in a box or a package, try and minimize that. And
something else you can do, folks, is give us a call. 877-927-6648. Now, what we wanted to do is really tell people, and this is one of the reasons that we want people to go paleo, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of reasons, actually, besides trying to really, what I consider living a primal lifestyle, frees my mind up, and I don't think about all this modern clutter that we have, all the streets. Sometimes I imagine myself walking, instead of through a garage, I'm walking through a cave system or something like that. That's just me. But, you know, besides the peace of mind that it gives you, there's so many things that we can gain from living a primal lifestyle.
Okay, well, you know, you kind of hit on it in the newsletter. You know, just let's talk about 5 main reasons why you would want to be paleo or primal. Number 1.
Okay.
Nutritional benefits, the density. High density
food, because it's not screwed with, mainly. We try to get as least processed as possible. We try to get it as wild as possible. Those are the kind of things that we look for. You don't always get it. It doesn't matter. But you are getting the best you can get.
Yeah, you know, there's scientific research talking about, we call it calorie mimetics. Calorie mimetics mean that we're mimicking a very low-calorie diet, which demonstrates an increase in longevity of 20 to 30%.
Yeah. And don't think that this is a starving type of diet. When we're talking about dense...
Yeah, nutritionally dense, getting maximum nutrition.
And getting satisfaction from the food. In other words, you're not going to be hungry all the time because you're so satisfied with what you're eating. You're eating less of it, The
research is showing that obesity is a starvation disease. The reason the body is storing all of this is that the nutritional needs of the body are not being met, so the body is holding on to other stuff just in case.
Yeah. And that,
so it really makes sense when you think about it.
And that food, that anti-nutritional food, is mostly the grains and the beans. They have a lot of volume to them, but there's not much there. Your body is actually going to give that food more nutrition from your own body to get it digested. So you're really, that's what she means when you're starving yourself, don't you? You're starving yourself of nutrition.
Of nutrition. That's the reason we eat. Yeah. That's really why we're eating.
Yeah.
I mean, and it is enjoyable.
And food is medicine.
It is, exactly. Yeah. All right, so that was number 1, nutritional benefits. Number 2, protective benefits. Degenerative diseases, primarily.
Right, because most of the food is not as inflammatory.
Yeah.
It's not filled with chemicals.
Right.
You get less irritation from it. You're getting much more of body-building materials in the food that help you digest it much easier, so those nutrients can get into the cells. You're eating a good, healthy fat, so those cells will open up naturally and let the nutrition in and kind of renew themselves. Because if that stuff doesn't go in your cells, folks, it's not going to get revived. It's a dead cell.
You're eating amino acid-rich foods, all the building blocks of a healthy body. You're eating foods that are high in antioxidants, and that's what's going to be protective against the main killer diseases that we're all facing, you know, from arthritis to cancer to
and these
cardiovascular disease.
And the other thing, too, is we see these diseases as just commonplace, folks. These are things as a result of our environment and what we eat. These aren't common to our species. They're only showing up because we're so screwed up.
Exactly, because what we're using.
Yeah.
So number 3. Maintaining a healthy body weight.
There you go.
That's a big incentive, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And we know that risk to some of these degenerative diseases goes down proportionally directly with obesity, with weight.
You know, I read an article the other day, too. It was interesting. Even a person who is going on a kind of a yo-yo diet where they go up for a while and they go down, still healthier than the person that is in the upper range. In other words, they stay up there in the higher weight. So even if you're going up and down and you're trying, and maybe you're not succeeding, you're still going to be healthier by doing that, because you're spending less time in that irritation zone. Irritant zone.
So we were on number 3 of this little 5-point thing, but I saw something today across the wire that was talking about, again, in a lot of mainstream approach to health, because they're using standards. People use the body mass index as an indicator of obesity, and that in fact there are people that have a little higher body mass index, but maybe placing their fat in different spots, i.e. the abdominal fat, the visceral fat, the protruding belly, the waist circumference is a much better indicator of your risk of degenerative diseases and your obesity. Because body mass index doesn't take into consideration muscle mass, so it's not a really great measure. Waist circumference.
Yeah. And if you really want to find out your fat density in that, you have to do it in a water test, actually.
That's the most accurate term. And there are some monitoring things you can buy at home, scales that measure body fat, but those are very highly susceptible to your hydration. Did you know that?
Well, yeah, because one of the biggest things is that most people aren't hydrating enough. They're not drinking enough water.
So they'll actually appear more fat when in fact they're just dehydrated.
Even folks, if you think you're drinking a lot of things, but if you're not drinking water, in fact, I have a saying that I came up with. I have it right here. It says, water to drink, everything else is for sipping. So if you want to hydrate yourself, it's with water. Your sodas are not hydrating you. They're actually taking...
Neither is your iced tea.
And your iced tea isn't, and coffee isn't, of course. And of course, alcoholic drinks, they're not hydrating you at all. They're really sucking it out of you. So water is the only thing that really hydrates you. It's the only liquid here that is without a process.
Correct.
Everything else you have to process, folks. So if you want into unprocessed foods, water is the number one food right there.
Great place to start.
Right. Okay, so that was 3?
Yep. Number 4 is considered a perfect alkaline diet. I think that might be surprising to some people because, again, I think there's a lot of people that are feeling like if you eat meats, then you're going to be acidic, and that's just not true completely. You have to, again, dive a little deeper and look at the information.
Yeah, because a meat diet is acidic diet. Eating plants.
Because we're not advocating eating tons of meat. No. We're actually indicating eating mostly
tons of fat.
Tons of fat. Yeah. With a little bit of protein. Yeah. Humanely raised of organic nature, so that you can get the building blocks. And great plant sources of these foods.
Yeah, and when we talk about plants, we're not talking the seeds of plants, because when we were talking the green stuff, plants and vegetables, we're talking about alkaline food. When we're talking about the seeds, highly acidic. Okay, so there's the difference. So if you're eating meat and rice, meat and wheat, meat and rye, you're eating highly acidic. But if you're eating meat and some vegetables, now you're talking about balance.
Well, and
the thing that throws off our whole thing is the grains and the beans, because they're highly acidic.
And the starches.
And their starches.
And the sugars. And the paleo diet, period, is a diet that encourages eating lots of fresh vegetables. And that's what a lot of people, I think, get confused about. But the greens and the vegetables are very important in the paleo diet.
Sure.
And that facilitates an alkaline base.
Yeah. And I think they're more important these days because we need those nutrients that they have, because that's what helps build our immune system up.
I think a great food, to be an example, too, of paleo could be, I don't know, maybe you might argue with me, but I think the bone broths.
Oh, excellent, of course.
And the stews. Yeah. If you look at a bowl of, and I just made a really good one this past week.
Oxtail soup.
Yeah. I made one with chicken, though, but I cooked the chicken for 2 days, to make the bone broth. And then I added apple cider vinegar, and I added parsley to kind of pull the minerals out of the bones. And then I added my cabbage. It was more like a chicken cabbage stew.
Wonderful.
And it was delicious.
Cabbage is one of those perfect foods, too.
Yeah.
Well, I remember my mother always, when she made soup, she always started with the bones. Yeah. Whether it's bones of chicken or a hog bone, jowl, or whatever she threw in there. It's always started with that.
soups do not start with the Swanson's carton. That's not where a good soup or stew starts.
The secret recipe was always a little can of tomato soup or something like that, or there was another thing that people used, chicken bouillon.
To make the broth, yeah. But you actually need to use your bones. And again, I mean, I love the Weston Price as a place to start to find some of these people that are out there on the internet that are doing, wonderful videos that how to make a bone broth and how to make a traditional soup, and so that it's the most nourishing food. We're coming into the fall; it's a perfect time to start making bone broths, and they taste so much better. So much better. Yeah.
Okay, so what's number 5?
Okay, gut-friendly diet.
Gut-friendly. Oh, well, that's interesting because I always was diagnosed with a nervous stomach, whatever that is. And I had it frequently when I was young. I kind of grew out of it, but it still had it once in a while, as a adult. But it really, I think it transcended more into the whole bowel and pancreas as I got older. Once I changed to a paleo diet, all those things went away because it really was an allergy to the grains.
The glutens.
Yeah, the glutens. I had trouble processing them, but you have so much information that people tell you, and the media tells you how healthy the whole grains are. And of course, for 20 years, I went to the health food store seeking out those whole grains. Now I know that they're not good for me.
They're really not good for us. And if you are going to have some grains, a little sprouted toast is a sprouted grain.
Bread.
Yeah.
But even they sell spelt bread. I'm not sure it's all sprouted. I think some of the ones are there. So you're really better off if you're going to do it, maybe do it yourself.
Yes.
Or just replace it. I mean, if you're making brownies like my wife did a couple of weeks ago, we were having some people over. She made some brownies, and she made them with almond flour. And they were fabulous.
I like what you said, Our research reveals that the human gut is not adapted for modern-day industrial diet and has been implicated in conditions such as food allergies, sensitivity, gluten intolerance, and inflammatory reactions. So the industrial food is what is at the heart of a lot of our issues, and that's why we're advocating that everyone start to turn towards more of a primal living.
Yeah, even if you go back, say, 50 years, it's going to be a difference. And when you think back 50 years, you're talking about the 1960s. So a lot of the things that are here now weren't.
Well,
but if you go back to 100 years and then 150 years, each time you go back like that, you're really purifying your body. You're getting these modern foods out. Now, if you go back 10,000 years where there was no grains whatsoever, then I think you're really doing well. I've done that pretty much, 90%. But I figure if you're doing it 9 times out of 10, you're really making headway. And that's the way I feel. And that's why I feel good, and that's why we, Paige and I, are so adamant in promoting this kind of lifestyle to get you people to say, I am worth it. I'm the one that's going to make the decisions for me. I need to be healthy, and I want a good quality of life. If you want to feel better, folks, this is the path to take. Start with your diet.
And there's so much research. I mean, your newsletter gives people tremendous tips to start understanding where to go, and there's sources on the internet too, but great place to start.
Sometimes I think I get too technical in there, but I really want you folks to do your own research. And that's the only way to get the real accurate information. If I start writing recommendations for you, just that alone, I don't think it's going to do it. You need to find out yourself why these things are important. Folks, we'll be right back. We have one more segment coming up. It's 877-927-6648. Give Paige and I a call. We'll be right back.
If you're an investor looking for a great weekly investment newsletter, then now is the perfect time to try out Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Every Tuesday, Ken breaks down multiple sectors in his weekly newsletter, Ultimate Growth Stocks, with a full in-depth report including specific trading recommendations within his model portfolio, charts, sector analysis, upcoming economic data, along with intra-week trading updates on newsletter positions whenever the market dictates. Right now, you can receive a full month, that's 30 days, to evaluate Ken's newsletter free of charge to see if it fits your trading plan. At less than $75 per month, Ken provides you with his expert trading advice that can pay for itself in no time. Take advantage of this great offer by signing up for a 30-day free trial to Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks today. Don't let this offer pass you by. Visit the front page of TFNN.com and sign up now.
with the launch of Tiger TV. TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Ken Shreve, David White, Larry Pesavento, Victor Jones, or Carol Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to TFNN.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the show, folks. It's Nico and Paige on Living a Primal Lifestyle, and it's been a real nice session here. You know, we only have a few minutes left, but we were talking about the immune system and about the gut being the
second brain.
The second, yeah, it is kind of the second brain, and of course I had problems with that until I switched over, and so this is really a primary reason why we do recommend a primal type diet or paleo diet or a low carb diet and getting away from processed foods. But the gut is really important because we're talking about the thing that really makes our immune system and all the defenses and all the functions of our body work, isn't it?
We kind of started out in the beginning talking about when babies are born, the importance of breastfeeding to inoculate the baby's immune system and gut flora. You know, actually a big part of that also happens during the delivery when they come out of the vaginal canal. I mean, that's important. So C-section babies miss some of that inoculation, unfortunately. But, you know, coming back again to the experiences that you had with your nervous stomach and not having good gut flora, most likely.
Affected me my whole life.
Yeah, and the disease, gut microbiota and immune system development are huge, and making sure that we have a well-populated gut. And just replacing the probiotics is oftentimes not enough. We've got damaged gut lining, which creates little holes, if you will, where then the toxins from foods or proteins that are not digested go out into the body and create the inflammation we're seeing. So again, it comes back to digestive health and restoring that. And we can get that through naturally fermented foods and probiotic supplementation and rebuilding the gut lining. I think I talked about that a little bit about cabbage soup.
Yeah.
It's very healing.
Yeah.
It has
Cabbage
lots of
soup is
glutamine
fantastic.
for healing the gut lining. But again, one of the things that we're seeing in epidemic proportions, and we're coming into the fall, is this epidemic of C. difficile, which is a type of infection that's going through they call it C. diff. It's going through the hospitals, and what we're seeing is many times people who've been in the hospital, been on antibiotic therapy, they've wiped out their gut, then they go into the hospital and they catch another infection, and it becomes...
Defenses are down.
Defenses are down.
Yeah.
So we want you to think about your gut health. You're coming into the fall. Use good probiotics, but get your probiotics from your foods. Rebuild your gut lining, and
seek out a professional that can help you. If you're, no matter what stage you are at, as far as being well or not well, or sick or not sick. Anything that you do with your health, starting with your diet, is really going to make a huge difference in how you get better.
With real foods.
And you will get better very quickly. I mean, the transformation is quite fast. And a year from now, you're going to be a whole different person. You're going to feel that. And each year it gets better and better and better. And that's the beautiful part. We don't have to get worse as we get older. Paige, you just had a birthday the other day. Happy birthday, by the way. 36, right? Yeah. The thing is, I always look forward to my birthday. And I know you always have a great attitude about it, too, because what we're doing is we're taking another step to our ultimate goal of whatever that is. Who knows? But, life is something to be cherished, and by looking forward to it, that's how I cherish it.
Well, I think one thing that's, a lot of people go, we're living longer than we ever have, but the question is, are most people living better? I mean, we see people experiencing obesity on 10 or 15 different drugs. That's not living. We are designed to be just as vibrant into our 90s and above, and that's what we need to do. We need to start doing it, and the way it happens is not through... none of us are born with a pharmaceutical drug shortage or deficiency. We are given everything that we need in our environment. We just have to avoid the things that are bad for us and include more of the ones that we need. That's what it's all about.
That's for sure.
You have a few things you don't need, too many that you do need.
Yeah, and we all need each other, so everybody take care of each other, and we'll see you next week. Have a great weekend.